Trinity. I'm going to be your safari guide today on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, if everybody can look above them, straight above your heads, that is an animal spotting guide. Those are all the animals, give or take, that are on our safari today. Now, we might not necessarily get to see every single one of those animals due to different migration patterns, sleeping patterns, or any other patterns you guys could possibly think of. But I have been known to have some pretty good luck out there. Now we're just going to wait for a few moments to get that clearance from our boarder to head on into the reserve today. If the truck will get its clearance, and then we will get ours as well. Now, just a quick safety and courtesy reminder to please keep on those face coverings. Now, those face coverings will cover your entire nose, your entire mouth, and your entire chin as well. Living up to a same face covering. Now, on your right-hand side, the animal at the bottom of that sign is the sable antelope. Now, the sable antelope lives on the savanna portion of our reserve, so we're going to keep a good eye out for the sables on the savanna. A good way to remember is they both start with the letter S. Now, I am your animal spotter, so I would use that kind of animal spotting guide above you as kind of a rough draft of how many animals we do have out there. That list is almost about 20 years old, so there have been a few more animals that have been added and a few more animals that have left the reserve since then. And now we're heading on into the Little Ituri Forest. Now, all of the animals that are in the Ituri Forest are very elusive to the eye, so we're going to keep an eye out in those back corners and in those bushes. Walking around right there on your right-hand side, that is the okapi at the bottom of the hill. Now, the okapi has striped legs. Everyone automatically assumes the okapi is related to the zebra because of its stripes. However, it's the only living relative of the giraffe. You can tell it's a relative of the giraffe because of its neck structure, its ears, its super long tongue. Now, an okapi's tongue can get up to about 18 to 20 inches long. Helps them reach those hard to reach places when they are eating and drinking. Now, the okapi is actually one of the only animals on Earth that can lick their own eyeballs. That's how long their tongues are. There's one last great look at the okapi right there. They weren't discovered until 1901. It wasn't until 1901 that the Western world finally discovered them. Before then, they were thought to be a mythical creature. Now, coming up on your right-hand side, there is a greater kudu. There's actually two of them that are hanging out right there. Now, the greater kudu are the second tallest of all of the antelope on our reserve. They can get up to about 5.5 feet tall at their shoulder.
Hey, John.
Now, we try not to whistle at the animals in their own habitat because we are lucky enough to be guests in their home. They actually do not respond to any of those kinds of calls. Now, coming up on your left and on your right-hand side, these are bongos. Bongos' nicknames are the ghosts of the forest. They're called the ghosts of the forest because they run through the trees and the brush absolutely silent, which is an amazing form of protection. Now, bongos will have 13 white stripes on average, and both male and female bongos will have horns. Alright, so we're going to keep moving forward. That was a great view of the Ituri Forest. We're going to make our way to the South Peak River. Now, the South Peak River is a great place to see many different types of water-based animals. We're going to keep our eyes peeled inside of the water itself. Now, I'm not seeing anybody moving around just yet inside the water, but that's where we do have another side of the river coming up on our left-hand side. Now, swimming around on your left-hand side, we got some white birds that are pink-backed pelicans, and all the way down that river, there's a Nile hippopotamus that's swimming around. Now, hippos, they spend the majority of their day completely submerged underwater. Looks like a few of them is actually heading out of the river as well. A group of hippopotamus is known as a bloat of hippos. Now, when hippos communicate with one another, it's called wheeze honking, because it sounds like they're making a wheezing sound and a honking sound. Now, hippos are very large in size, and they're incredibly large in weight as well. They're also quite aggressive. Their aggression comes from being territorial and protective of their young. There are 3 hippos that are walking around right there on your left-hand side. Coming up on your left-hand side, these are Nile crocodiles. Now, Nile crocodiles, they conserve their energy for the majority of the day, truly only using their energy to eat and to hunt. They close their mouths with 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Per square inch is the most important part of that sentence. It says bone crushing pressure in just one single bite. On your right-hand side, this is an African baobab tree. And the baobab tree is also known as the upside down tree because its branches look like it could be its roots. Now, 9 months out of the year, this tree is going to remain leafless to conserve water. Pretty important that a tree can conserve water and then sustain themselves off of that water because of the hot and dry climate. Savannah. A lot of the animals on the savannah coexist with one another and actually look out for each other's well-being. Now, laying down in front of the den on your left-hand side, those are African wild dogs. African wild dogs are the most successful predator in the animal kingdom, having a 90% success rate. Now, the dogs will use their speed and their endurance to mentally and physically exhaust their prey. That's when they will finally make their move. And the wild dog is also called the painted dog because it looks like their fur has been painted in light brown. Coming up on your left-hand side, these gray animals closest to us, these are white-bearded wildebeest. White-bearded wildebeest are also called the gnu, spelled G-N-U for the low grunting noise that they make. Further back in that back left corner, the sables I was telling you guys about earlier. Sable antelope have those horns that go straight up and curve behind them. If an animal were to attack them from behind, all they would need to do is tilt their head backwards, use a little force, and they'd be able to protect themselves. Now there's some more white-bearded wildebeest on your right-hand side. Now also on your right-hand side are some Hartman's Mountain zebras. Now zebras are black with white stripes in this species, and we can tell because of their black noses. Now a group of zebras is called a dazzle. up as we make our way closer towards the far hills of the savannah. We're going to keep an eye out for some more animals as well. Now these very large red animals on your right-hand side, those are Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle are also called the Watusi cattle because the Watusi tribe first domesticated them. Their horns in their head are very large, but they're not heavy. Millions of blood vessels run through them, so the blood's going to run to the tip of their horn and go back into their body. Now crossing the road in front of us and on your left-hand side, these are the springbok. Springbok are the smallest of all of the antelope on our reserve. Now springbok are only 2 to 3 feet tall. They can jump 6 feet straight up into the air, 13 feet in front of them. Now the springbok are among the top 10 fastest land animals on Earth. So because of their agility and because of their speed, they're the emblem of a lot of African sports teams, as well as the official animal of South Africa. Now, coming up on your left-hand side is a tower of giraffe. Now, a tower is a group of giraffe. These are Maasai giraffe. We can tell they're Maasai because of the jagged edges around their spots. They can get up to 20 feet tall. And a giraffe can live for about 20 hours out of the day. Giraffes eat, sleep, and give birth standing up. So the first thing that a younger giraffe is going to learn is the law of gravity. It is a 6-foot drop to the ground. Now giraffes will learn how to walk within the first hour of their lives, which is also pretty important for them as well. So if a predator sees them being born and deems them as vulnerable, a predator might try and attack the tower. Now giraffes really do not discriminate against any kind of vegetation on this reserve. They will eat any kind of tree, branch, brush, grass, root, moss, or leaf they could possibly fit into their mouths. Now if you guys see some movement on your left-hand side, those are mandrills. Mandrills are the largest monkeys on Earth. They're famous for their colorful faces, their colorful behinds, having red, blue, and yellow markings on either side. Now there are a few that are hanging out in that bottom right corner right there. There's a few that are behind the rocks as well. Now there is a great view of an African elephant right there on your right-hand side. We're going to pull just a little bit forward so we can get a little bit more of a side profile view. Now elephants are very majestic creatures. They cover their bodies in hay, dirt, water, and mud. And they do that in order to protect their skin from the sun, using it as a natural sunscreen. Now, elephants will flap their ears to cool down their core body temperature by at least 15 to 20 degrees. Elephants will do as much as they can to cool down their core body temperature. So their skin's incredibly sensitive. In fact, it's so sensitive, elephants are afraid of bees, of bee stingers. Now there is a road closure, but not to worry guys, we're going to make our way forward, take a small detour on that original path for just a few minutes. guys, it looks like we are back on our original path. With some more baobab trees on your left and on your right hand side. Coming up on your left-hand side, these are greater flamingos. Now, flamingos are born gray. They turn pink because of the shrimp that they eat, having a protein in it called beta-carotene. Now, a group of flamingos is called a flamboyant. A flamboyance of flamingos. Now, the greater flamingo are the tallest and the lightest in color.
Se ponen rojos de la cantidad de camarones que comen, ¿ya vieron?
Now, on the left-hand side, there are some more elephants that are hiding out over here. It looks like that is a herd with a smaller elephant that's laying down on that pile of dirt right there. Like I said, they love to cover their bodies in hay, dirt, water, and mud, and they will cover themselves however they feel necessary. Sometimes that's laying around, hoping that it sticks, and then moving to the other side. Now, unfortunately, elephants are being poached out in the wild for those white ivory tusks. A lot of people will illegally enter areas in Africa and the hopes to poach those elephants for their ivory, which is such a small percentage of their entire bodies. Now we're going to make our way through the deeper portion of the savannah. Laying down on your right-hand side down that valley is a white rhinoceros. There's actually a few of them that are laying down back there. Now, white rhinos can get up to 5,000 pounds each. The group of them is called a crash. Now, white rhinos get their name because of the Afrikaans word wide, meaning wide, talking about how wide their mouths are. It's nothing to do with the color of their skin. In fact, they are a dark gray, but on your left-hand side, this orange mud pit is the reason why they are always a different shade of orange. Laying down on your left-hand side are cheetahs. There's two on that left-hand side on that hill right there. You look at the large rocks, just look a little bit to the right, and you'll see them laying in the sun. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land animal on Earth. They can run up to 60 miles an hour. In just about 3 seconds, cheetahs can clock up to 70 miles an hour when they're running at full speed. Cheetahs can't keep that full speed for too long, only about 10 to 12 seconds at a time. That group of cheetahs is known as a coalition of cheetahs. Now, unfortunately, cheetahs are being poached out in the wild for their fur coats. A lot of fashion design industries are using their fur as a way to elevate their products. Now, next time you guys are out and about shopping, especially this holiday season, try not to purchase anything with real fur because it does incentivize the poaching of these beautiful animals. There's a water buck that's hiding out right there on your right-hand side. You can see on top of that hill right there. Now, the water bucks are famous for an oil secretion on their fur that makes them water resistant. Not waterproof, but water resistant. Laying down on your left-hand side, those are lions. Lions are inactive for 20 hours out of the day. Lions are only going to be active for about 4 hours at night because their night vision is 6 times better than it is during the day. Now, females will go out and do all of the hunting. When the males will stay home, watch over the territory, and there's 2 lionesses right there, the females, and there's 1 male out there as well. These rocks are called Kogi rocks. They mark the foundation of the territory of the lion. You can hear them lions roar up to about 5 or 6 miles away. Most of the time when they are communicating with one another, it's in the hopes to share their location, the location of other lions, or to call off other lion prides.
Pero una niña como de 11 años.
Now coming up on your right hand side, there's a little bit of movement, and we're going to see those white rhinoceros again as well.
Iban a salir ahorita dos rinocerontes.
Tienen todas las cosas, entonces cuando ellos se atraviesan ese camino, se los ejecutan.
Estamos en el terreno.
Voy a tirar este ya.
No, porque se lo puede comer un animal y eso no puede hacer nada. ¿Qué van a hacer?
Now that movement on your right hand side, those white animals are the scimitar horned oryx. There is an ostrich right there on your right hand side as well. A bontabon that's laying down. And those white rhinoceros. Now ostriches are the fastest and largest birds alive. They can be about 40 miles an hour. These eggs on your right hand side are ostrich eggs. Now ostrich eggs can get up to about 2 to 3 pounds each in weight. An entire human being can stand on one of those eggs without cracking the shell at all. Now, right now, we are entering the Guiding Glen. Guiding Glen was built by the Disney Conservation Fund in the hopes to bring more animals onto this reserve. And it looks like we are passing by the Warden's Post. Now, the Warden's Post is a great indication that we are on our way back towards Harambe. There are some Nigerian dwarf goats coming up on your left-hand side, which do belong to the Wardens and the team. Now, these goats are a huge opportunity to link animals and villages out in Africa, especially because of their domestication. Now, the dwarf goats actually give out very nutritious milk that is used out in the village as well. That's one of our researchers. Now, each and every day out here in Harambe, we have a huge opportunity to educate as many people as we can. So I want to encourage you guys while you're here with us today at Animal Kingdom to learn about your favorite animals. Unfortunately, they're going through a lot of hardship. They're going up against poaching, habitat loss, deforestation, threats from natural disasters, and pollution of their environments. So I encourage you guys to make sure that you see that you can make a huge difference for these animals each and every day. Now, right here in Harambe, we have 2 opportunities for you guys to learn. We have Gorilla Falls exploration trip, as well as Graffiti's Planet Watch. Planet Watch will take you back to Wildlife Express train to Graffiti's to head back to an animal veterinary hospital, a nutrition center, and many other opportunities for education as well. So I encourage you guys to go out today and truly make a difference for these animals. Now, Gorilla Falls has gorillas, monkeys, meerkats, ginkgoras, hippos, okapi, you name it, we've got it. Now, here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye. Goodbyes are far too final. They're far too sad. Here we like to say kwaherini. Kwaherini in Swahili does mean to go well. So, kwaherini, my friends. Go well, go wild, and go make a difference. Have a great rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Come back and visit us again sometime soon. Alright guys, kwaherini, go well, go